Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Paper Be Gone. Every week, there's some new alert that another company has had its records hacked. Identity theft is a massive problem. So how can an East Tennessee person or business protect themselves from all this chicanery? Well, you can start by having Paper Be Gone destroy your old records rather than just tossing them out. Have them shred them, take them away, dispose of them in an environmentally friendly way. You can even get them to destroy old hard drives on old computers. Don't throw that old computer out. Some scumbag's going to grab it, figure out what you've got in there, open that thing up, and figure out your history. You don't need that. Paper Be Gone can protect you, your home, your company, your business. Paper Be Gone, from the same great folks that bring you Junk Be Gone. These are great, great people. Give them a shout this week. Visit paperbegone.com. All right, so let's say, here's how I would do it. And you all can get your guns out.
I got my pen ready, John.
Right.
I mean, seriously?
See, I don't just, that's right. Said that to the wrong guy. All right. Let's say the SEC sticks with an 8-game conference schedule, being the cowards that they are. I would hate it, but they've shown no signs of wanting to go to 9. If that's the case, then Tennessee would play 4 home games and 4 road games every year. Here's what I would do. If I'm the athletic director at Tennessee or any of these SEC schools, this is the way I would do it. And we're starting, just to give you an example, we'll start in 2026. Imagine all of the current contracts were just null and void, thrown out. Here's how UT should schedule, in my opinion. The first thing I'm going to do, you would get 8 conference games, obviously, 4 at home, 4 away. I'm going to give you 7 guaranteed home games a year. So you're going to get 3 home games, and 1 non-conference game is going to be on the road, either to a good program as part of an intersectional rivalry, the way Tennessee used to do it, or to a really good venue, something with college football history where fans could go and say, wow, I've been to X, or just a good city for fans to visit. Danny White doesn't believe fans like to travel. I don't agree with that. I think they do. I think there are still fans that enjoyed going to Oregon, Oklahoma, UCLA, Cal over the years. I would give you 2 games versus Power 4 teams every season. Doesn't mean the 2 top teams in their conferences, just means 2 Power 4 teams. So, sorry, Kent State and UTEP. And then I would give you, even though I despise it, I would allow them to keep 1 game against the in-state FCS cannon fodder. That means Chattanooga, UT Martin, East Tennessee State, and who's the other one? Austin Peay.
Yeah.
You would keep those, which, again, I hate them. But so what would that look like? I'm just going to give you an example. Don't pay attention to the specific teams so much as the type of team. But let's go ahead and look at this next graphic. All right, so what you got here, like in 2026, you got USC at home, at Georgia Tech, Southern Miss at home, and then Chattanooga. So if you look at this across the board, that top line, that's your intersectional rivalry. So it's USC, then the next year at USC. It's Notre Dame, at Notre Dame. Ohio State, you've never been there. They'd be at Ohio State the next year. UCLA, traditional rivalry with them. Wisconsin, you've never been there. They've never been here. Come on, that's the kind of game you need to be playing. So that's your top line. And every other year you're on the road with one of those. Then I would create a second line, which would be teams that either have a history with you, or it's a great city, or it's a city where fans would enjoy going, meaning at Georgia Tech one year, Georgia Tech home the next. At Tulane, who doesn't want to go to New Orleans? Are you kidding me? Tulane next. At Memphis, put them on this kid. At UNLV, there's no danger in playing UNLV, but you get a trip to Vegas. Are you kidding me? Yes, these coaches would scream, but if other SEC teams can schedule Army and Navy, you can too. Stop being cowards. Wouldn't you like to see West Point? I would like to see a game at West Point. Then you go and just buy traditional games. You know, you've played Southern Miss a million times, Duke, UAB, BC, Wake Forest, Maryland. Those kind of games, you buy them, it's a one-off. And then you get those crummy FCS games at the bottom. But, for example, USC, at Georgia Tech, Southern Miss, Chattanooga. Let's say 2030. It's Ohio State, then it's at Memphis, Wake Forest, Chattanooga. That's not going to scare anybody to death. That's not the end of the world, but it's a far sight better than what you get now, in my opinion. Now, you guys can tell me if I am wrong or not.
No,
I'm not going to
100%,
tell you you're
yeah.
wrong. I think that is a good formula. I would love to see that.
I think it's much better. The only one thing is I don't know if you're going to be able to in this climate buy those matchups with the other Power 4 schools.
That may change, that may change. I agree with you. That may be tough, but I think there's still going to be some that do it. You still got some that do it now.
Yes, and I think your win total is still going to be the same if you're so concerned about it, like the athletics departments are right now. But I think that for the fan, you can probably charge more money or get more money or have an even longer
And the
waiting
odds
list
are-
if that's
Yeah.
what your
The
schedule
odds
is.
are, if you're competitive in the SEC, then that kind of schedule, you're going to be very competitive with it. You don't have to play 3 Kent States in a row and then Tennessee Martin.
Yeah.
If you're good, it doesn't matter.
I think it's more than being competitive in those games because Tennessee will probably be favorite to win a lot of those games. It's the risk of losing. And I think that's the frustrating thing with the current pattern of one, Power Four, 2 Group of 5 or Group of 6 or whatever, and then 1 FCS. It's a lot of these teams don't have the risk of losing. So that your pattern, I like it, but that would eliminate as much risk of losing too.
So you're
Losing
saying,
games.
well, exactly,
would
which
be-
I call cowardice. But,
Cowardice.
no,
Well,
it is
I mean,
cowardice.
John,
But that's what
you
you're saying, right?
Yeah, it would make it more
Better to be-
difficult. But I'm
yeah, you
fine
don't-
with it.
yeah,
But I'm
you're-
just saying.
So what you're saying is UT, and I don't agree, I don't disagree. I think you're right. UT is too scared to play Memphis, so they play Western Michigan instead. I find that offensive.
And
So
one-
you could
sorry.
you could do two of those games, right? Maybe not 3, but that would be better than what they have now. Correct? Here's what, and I agree with Vince on this. I think Tennessee's administration looks at it. If we lose 1 non-conference game, we lose 2 SEC games. We're not in the playoff.
Coward.
I mean, I think
Other
that's
schools
kind
are
of how.
scheduling. Other
yeah.
schools are scheduling better than that.
understand.
You're
LSU's
saying
playing
we need to
USC.
be Kentucky.
LSU's playing USC and UCLA in September this year.
Florida's-
Right?
Yeah,
Well,
Florida's
Yeah.
got.
and
You already said it.
And here's
Yep.
the thing.
Yep.
John's
Everybody else can do
line
it.
3 is now your top. That is
That would be the
basically
best of your
the
non-conference.
top of what you're
That-
doing.
that's
What-
true.
What'll be interesting to see is with the 12-team playoff, does it change any of that philosophy and looking at it? And what about TV? Because you get better TV inventory with a schedule like
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I don't like Tennessee looking around the conference and saying, we can't schedule like Florida and LSU.
Yeah,
I mean,
know.
Florida's worse than you, are they not?
Yeah.
So I find that offensive. As someone who grew up watching Tennessee, you used to be the best of the best. I would get better. But we appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Happy Mother's Day to everybody, including mine. And we will see you next Sunday right back here for the Sports Source. Appreciate you.